Praise the Lord, Ave Maria. Wishing all my dear friends a blessed 2021. I know all of you have been thinking about what is that one thing that you would do this year as a resolution. Like you, I was also reflecting yesterday that what is that one thing that I want to do as a resolution for 2021. The one thing that I've decided for myself is to take rest. You can't have joy without resting from your work. Frankly, you can't even remember who you are without rest. The command to rest and worship on the Sabbath changed the world. Obeying that command will change your life too. In this rule, we'll be simply focusing on the rest part of the Sabbath. Like worship, rest isn't something that is handed over to you. It is a decision. You have to fight for it. We can all fall into a kind of slavery to our work if we are not careful. We can all lose ourselves under the crushing wheels of our schedules and to-dos if you don't keep them in check. Have you ever felt that way about the gears of your life? Work, kids' sports, the laundry. It all serves a purpose. And then, at some point, the scale tips, we know not how, and it takes over. It robs you more than your time. If you are not careful, it robs you of your sense of self. It feels like slavery. Don't panic. The people of God had been there before. The way out of slavery is very simple. It's Sabbath. We weren't born to live as cogs in a great societal machine. We didn't exist for the so-called pharaohs. We are not a means to some other person's end. Of all the creation, we are the only creation on earth that God willed to itself. God made us to share in His joy simply because He loves us. We aren't human doings. We are human beings. The thought of you and not what you do delights God. I repeat, the thought of you and not what you do delights God. And that's why you exist. Keeping the Sabbath has the power to keep you grounded in who you are and in the present moment. Sabbath calls us to a personal revolution, to revolt against the idea that our value comes from what we do, or that our identity is no more than our job title. It's so easy to forget ourselves, our hobbies, our fun, the things we enjoy about ourselves, and others like about us. We need to give ourselves space to rest so we can simply rediscover ourselves again. Every week, we are summoned to remember who we are. We are more than the things we do or the roles we play. This even implies to most noble roles in life. A minister met my mother once, and she introduced herself as Bijo's mom. He had to ask about 3 times who she was before she realized what he was doing. When she finally said her name, he said, "Yes, you're Rose. You're not just Bijo's mom. Even motherhood can't be summed up for all that the person is." We objectify ourselves when we don't remember that. When we never rest from our working, giving, and serving, we lose the sense of ourself. Our identity melds into the scope of the work. You are more than the things you do. Being disciplined about your weekly rest can help you remember that. So revolutionary and so simple. Sabbath is also our weekly practice to embrace the present moment. which I think is the only moment that overlaps the eternity. That's right. Embracing now helps us embrace a bit of heaven on earth. The Sabbath is about learning to rest in the eternal now. That's where God and every gift of your life is waiting for you. That's why devil is always at work to separate us from it. Probably that's why John Lennon said, life is what happens to you while you are busy making other plans. You work so hard to grow up, then you work so hard for your job, then your marriage, and then while you are married, you work for the kid, and then when kids come along, you are working for more stable life, and once you have got that, you work for your retirement. The forward motion never stops. We are called the human race probably for this reason. Then in retirement, you remember the good old days. But what if you are in the good old days now? I am not saying that you shouldn't plan, but when will you finally say, I have arrived? I am here. When is it time to start enjoying life? How about today? How about right now? How about start by being there really intentional about doing that one day every week, your Sabbath? My practical tip 1 is wage war on work. One day every week. Winnie the Pooh said, people say nothing is impossible, but I do nothing every day. Doing nothing, it turns out pretty difficult. That's why we need to fill every vague moment with something. Sitting still, check that phone. If it's a sunny day, go out and get some vegetables. If you are enjoying your life, feel a little guilty that you are not doing the dishes. It's as if there's a little invisible pharaoh at our backs whipping at us and pushing us forward. Coronavirus taught me how to slow down better than ever. Quarantine unleashed some powerful blessings in my life. I did have preferred that it never happened. Every trial has blessings hidden in it, and COVID-19 was no exception. It brought out one of the best confessions in my life. Coronavirus, I found myself doing nothing, more often playing more with my children, taking more walks, praying more family rosaries. I was still busy, but in a different way. To quote Fu again, doing nothing often leads to the very best of something. On Sunday, do nothing. The very best of something will fill the space. Sunday isn't the day to catch up on work. A tip for you is savor the moment. Rest isn't about finding shallow distractions from the reality. It's about grabbing hold of life and living it more deeply. What that looks like, as is the case with most profound realities, it's actually pretty simple. God gave us the smell of the flowers, so we take a moment to smell them. Ever heard the saying, stop and smell the roses? Why do we take that figuratively? I can almost hear God in heaven looking down and shouting to the world, what are you waiting for? Go ahead, smell. Why do so few people actually smell them? Second, taste your food. A friend of mine is a professional chef, and he confesses, we chefs are usually the worst at sitting down and enjoying a good meal. We eat fast food to save time. How tragic. You smell the exquisite food under the nose all the day, and then you end up eating the cheap burger on your way home. It literally only takes about 2 more minutes to take a deep breath, think about the taste, the food in your mouth. Think about the taste of your food in your mouth and enjoy it before moving to the next bite. You don't have to be rich to begin savoring the finer things. This truth came to light for me when I met a poor man, Sham. He invited me in his house that he was extremely proud of. He had built it himself out of pallet and tarps. It was about the size of my bedroom. The dirty floor was swept clean. Clothes were washed and perfectly folded on the shelves he had built. He introduced me to his two sons, and he called them little fat ones, the Jadias. Their clothes were better pressed than mine. Their hair was more neatly combed than mine too. He showed me a bench seat that he had taken from a van that he has placed outside his porch, and told me that there is a beautiful view of the moon from here. Sham was so proud of the little things he had. He had worked hard for it. In our 15 minutes together, I could feel his passion for life, his love for his family, his spirit of gratitude. I realized that I was a poor one. He was happier than those who have much, much, much more and don't take time to savor it. You don't have to be rich to live like a king. God has given you people to love and enjoy. He has given you sunsets and moonrises that surpasses the world's greatest painting. Get intentional about stopping, savoring, and enjoying life as you have it and not as you would love to have, especially on a Sunday. The third practical tip is don't rest lazily. You have heard the old phrase, the idle hands are devil's workshop. Becoming idle isn't the same as resting. Idleness is constantly fidgeting with small and unimportant things. Resting is a deep, intentional dive into life. So, do you rest in a way that raises your spirit or lowers it a few notches? In a way that brings you into touch with reality or separates you from it, dulling your spirit? In a way that brings you into deeper encounter with other people or with your phone? All too often, when we need rest, we look for the lowest hanging fruit. Remember, our brain is hardwired to conserve energy, that is calories, so we can survive. On some very real level, we are built for laziness. That's why when we need to refuel, we so often opt for the clickbait, scroll Twitter, or read the news. And since internet marketers aren't concerned about our happiness, but are owning to your eyeballs, so they can sell the ad space, clickbaits is often geared to grabbing your attention with something upsetting, something so bad that you can't look away, or at best, something mind-numbing, distracting. That's not the kind of rest that forms the basis of a culture of a joyful life. It's your job to guide your heart and mind to things that lift up and fuel your joy. What kind of music makes you really happy? Music that deeply moves and are meaningful, or music that are more easily classified as school noise? What kind of reading fills you with hope? Tweets or actual books? What types of images fuel your mind? Clickbaits or fine art? You know the answers to those questions, but you also know which is more readily available and easy to consume. Don't be lazy. Don't opt for the idleness or the clickbaits when your soul craves for the real truth, beauty, and goodness. But after your Sabbath, your spirit will be refreshed and built up and not dumbed down.